Get down, 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 down.
What's up, everybody, and Happy New Year. You are back 2025 with Mac and Free. I am Mac. He is Free, but our names are not important. What's going on, big dog? I mean,
you see it.
He's starting out with a trash can lid on, I see.
Okay. Hate if you must. But 2025 is off to the good. I'm going to say Christmas was good. Benedict College in the building. We ready, baby. We back. I'm excited.
Tell
Let's
the story,
do
man.
what it
Tell
do.
the story. What did Benedict College do?
Excuse me? What 1870? And you're asking what did it do? It educated some of the greatest individuals on this planet. You see how I read it back?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw it. It's
planet. So it'll sink in.
But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of what did they do, Drake did a thing, and he dropped a Dick's record called Fighting Irish. Now, I have not heard all of it, unfortunately for me, because I'm just learning that he did a thing. But Free has heard all of it. Free, what you think of the track?
I think it was clever. You could tell it was just bare minimum. It wasn't like mixed or put together. It was just let me get this off right now and get it out. But the key is that most of it is just talking about those we believe to be brothers and comrades who switched it up on him, you know. And he calls out Kendrick or takes those subliminal shots, and many believe he was taking shots at Yo Boy, because you know you were LeBron worshiper. They believe he was taking shots at LeBron as well. So I don't know. It's still some coded stuff, but the rhyme scheme and everything I felt was clever. I appreciated it.
I mean, okay. I mean, Jay-Z did the same thing after the Nas beef. Like he came out with a song called The Blueprint 2, and he's talking about everybody who basically sided with Nas. Like I get it. Like your feelings are hurt. I mean, Jay-Z said, "Can't y'all see these fake? The rap version of TD Jakes prophesizing off your CDs and tapes won't give you a crumb off the little bit that he makes, and this is with whom you've all placed your faith." Like he's not talking to Nas. that's clear about that. He's definitely not talking to Nas. And from what I have heard, not only does it sound like he's not talking to Kendrick necessarily, but everybody who sided with him. It also sounds like he did it in the Walmart bathroom while he was picking up some chips or something, man. Because it's like, I don't know what's wrong with the quality of it, but it sounds like he was like, "No, I got it now."
I think it's brilliant.
Like, well, get in the studio. Nah, I'm gonna do it in the car on the way there. Because
I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant.
You talking about the bad quality of it?
Yeah. But see, here's the thing though, right? We get so used to things being scripted and polished and stuff, and I think he was more about focusing on the message of it. Even when you listen to the track, the vocals are way higher, if you would. It's not mixed down, so the vocals stand out way more than even the music. But I think he wanted people to focus on the message and not get caught up in the instrumental. And Because let's be honest, that they not like us. You know, Kendrick was saying some stuff, but people like the catchiness of the dun, 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 and you get caught up in dun, 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 you know what I'm saying? So I think he wanted to deliver something that was raw, uncut, unstepped on for those that do that. That you know, it would keep the focus on what he was trying to convey with the message. I like it. I like stuff that's off the beaten path anyway. That's just me. I don't need everything all polished up. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, for the people who are gonna take this and call me a Drake hater, let me go ahead and spell that over now. I'm still a Drake fan. He just lost the battle. Like it was, like for me, it's different than it was for the Nas and Jay-Z. Because the last time I remember one this big, it was Nas and Jay-Z. This one was different than that in terms of people had crowned Nas the winner, and I felt like Jay-Z won. And I'm a bigger Nas fan. Like I'm a much bigger Nas fan than I am a Jay-Z. I didn't stop buying Jay-Z albums after the beef. I didn't stop buying Nas albums after the beef. Like I'm not a fan of how people compartmentalize or have the inability to compartmentalize because it's an art. So just because you have competing artists, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop liking one of them because the other one may have had his way with him. Kendrick Lamar had his way with Drake. He's much more crafty. He's much more craftier. But it was still, again, I didn't stop buying Drake out. No. But
I think too, cancel culture has a part in that to a degree.
Yeah,
because it's like now it's like, oh, you gotta pick the other, or if the other is deemed untouchable now to a degree or whatever. Like even I remember my middle daughter got into it and she was like, oh, Kendrick, I rock with and I'm just like, you should listen to all of it. Like
people did the same thing with Cat Williams. Like it was they didn't like Steve Harvey anyway. So the moment Cat said something negative about Steve Harvey, they were all over Steve Harvey. It's like, dog, Steve Harvey's still funny. Like, Cat Williams did not make Steve Harvey funny because he said something negative about him. Like, Cat said what he said, how he felt. Like, McKee knows my line on this one, man. I don't know these people. That's not normally what I say. I end that with the N-word normally, but I don't know these folks. So I'm not gonna pick a side. I don't have a reason to pick a side. It's the same thing with Drake. Like when I hear it, my opinion is he lost the battle. He didn't lose me as a fan. Like when Drake drops another album, get it. Like I definitely didn't stop that. And a lot of people, like, I've stopped having the conversation with folks because there's an assumption that when I say, man, Drake got one hung on him in this battle, there's an immediate response of, oh man, why you don't like Drake? Nah, that ain't what I said. Say he lost the battle. Like he dropped the next album and get the next Drake album. Like Drake still does great music. Like Kendrick Lamar didn't convince me to stop buying his music. If anything, Kendrick Lamar gave me reasons to question Kendrick Lamar. Like if that's the reason why I didn't pay any attention to the shots that was taken when it was like, well, Drake is a pedophile. It's like, well, Kendrick, you've known this all the time, and you decided to say something when you got mad, brother. Like that's not okay. So it's probably just a way of throwing mud on the whole thing even more. But either way, like I said, I've said no. I'm not taking sides in that way. Kendrick's a lot more craftier in the way that he was able to do things. He was a lot more shifty. Drake wasn't prepared for it. Like it was more or less, and tell me if you agree with this or not. It was more or less like when Drake had the other beats with other people, they didn't quite respond in that way. And it was almost as if he just wasn't prepared for the Kendrick Lamar response.
Okay,
and that's what got him in a little bit of quandary to me.
Let me throw a wrench in all this?
Go ahead.
Because I might need some explanation, man. So please tell me, because to the point of Kendrick saying this stuff, and you're like, well, if you know this, why you ain't say it? How much of it is true? Right? We can ask. So then we say, well, how does one win this battle? Because my thing is, it got a little personal.
Very.
Okay. Those things can
be very personal.
But it's like, okay, if it's nothing that's verifiable, okay, it's clever. But I want to say this. I thought Drake was genius when he did the AI voices. I don't know how people didn't like that. I thought it was clever. You had West Coast, how was that not considered clever or different? Was he the first to do that with the AI voices?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't like the AI voices.
Oh man, but that was, to me, that was brilliant. But I mean, I ain't on they stuff like that. Maybe I'm missing something. But I think both are clever and they did different things. I really just like it, you know, when everybody says, you know, Ether versus Super Ugly, but really, like, both of them still were successful. Like, who really loses?
No, we all win. We said this about some beefs in the past.
So that's why I'm saying, do we put more on these things than just entertainment? Because Jay-Z still went on to sell millions and millions of albums.
Absolutely.
Did he really get Ether?
Yeah.
Now, if you saying track for track, diss track, yeah, Ether was better. But then it's like, how do we classify a winner?
It's whoever has the larger fan base. And I think it's safe to say, and that's the reason why the Drake Kendrick one this time was so interesting, because Drake undoubtedly has the larger fan base, but Kendrick has the wider net of respect. That's kind of what it exposed, because there were people that would just respect Kendrick so much they were just like, nope, he's the winner. And it was very difficult to see it any other way after what is the name of that? I forgot the name of the song now. They not like us. Like, it was after Not Like Us, it was like, all right. Because Euphoria was hard too. Like, Euphoria was rough. Like, that was the first sign of, yeah, this could get really ugly. And then Drake kept dropping tracks, and then Kendrick would drop one here or there, and then Not Like Us just killed it. It was just like, all right, it's time to stop. Like, you don't have enough time.
I have a moment of honesty. Can I be honest with you?
Go ahead.
I didn't really like They Not Like Us. Yes,
I'm not a fan of that beat, but like, what?
No, I didn't like it.
He did too.
It was catchy.
Yeah, it was.
But I wasn't.
It was done after that though. Like, it was.
And I'm gonna tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because when I'm at a church conference and it comes up, that lets me know I need no parts of that.
Yeah, we talked about this the last time.
Yeah.
And
I'm in the UMC, so enough said.
Look, the UNCG band is gonna play it at the next soccer game, I'm sure. So you're not by yourself.
Yeah, when it gets real popish,
yeah. Yes.
You know, but also, and it's no shot to Kendrick, because he's brilliant. I love a lot of stuff he's on, but that might be me, because I'm just that boom bap type of cat, hip hop. Yeah. So I want that hard, grungy, pause. I mean, it's for the New Yorkers, but I want that pause. But Boy, everybody coming with smoke for me later. But
Yeah.
But I like the so it might be me when it's real catchy and I can't get into it. So it's more of that than the actual song with lyrics. You know what I mean? It's just like it was made for the radio. As Martin would say, the Pop-Tart charts. No, stop.
But it did its thing, like I said. But it what it did not do is make me like Drake any less. So I definitely need people to stop with that. Maybe that should be the next SYAD.
Well, you gonna like Drake less if it's true he was dissing your boy LeBron.
Again, I don't care. I don't know LeBron. I don't care what he said about LeBron.
You're a LeBron.
What I'm gonna protect LeBron for? I don't know this dude. I am a fan of his basketball acumen.
I'm still wounded.
Pretty much it.
I'm still wounded from your retaliations to me talking about LeBron on the Lakers. I'm still wounded.
What you mean?
You real sensitive when people go at LeBron.
Oh, so I will say this, and then we're gonna move on because we go into the NBA.
I'm trying to seg into the next.
Yeah. We say it's segging quite nicely to the NBA because that's where we're going next anyway. Here's what I will not stand for. I will not stand for people claiming nepotism against LeBron while he is on the team that is the poster child for nepotism in pro sports. It kills me to no end, and I'm gonna say this, and I want everybody to know this has no racial undertone. But when black folk have a tendency to put other black folk in a box like that, I can't stand it. Like it really does bother me a bit because there is, again, Jerry Buss died. He gave the franchise to his children. I have no issues with that. Who else is he going to give it to? But I didn't hear anybody screaming, well, they didn't give somebody a chance. Like, get out of here, man. But now that's what they're saying about Bronny. And it's like, listen, first off, Bronny James is LeBron James' son, which means a couple of things. One of them is he has access to resources that these other kids that you claim are getting opportunities taken from them, they don't have. So that's number one. Number two, we're looking at his skill set realistically. LeBron James Jr. would not have come out of USC last year. That's not a possibility if he's a normal kid. He's probably staying in college. He's probably a D-League walk-on, most likely, if we're being real, if he comes out his second year. We don't know how he'll build third or fourth year, so we can't say. So it was clear this was a money grab. This was an opportunity for the Lakers to be able to say we're the first franchise to have a father and son play on the same team, on the same court, at the same time in the history of the league. It was about them making history. LeBron James is a billionaire. It's not about money for him. It was about him taking the opportunity to leverage his own status to get his own son on the team so he could feel good about whatever that did for him. And I'm okay with it because owners throughout the NFL and NBA do it all the time. When Jerry Jones died, the next person to take up is Stephen Jones. It's not going to be Mike Tomlin. It's not going to be Raheem Morris. It's not going to be anybody you can name that would probably be better at owning that team. It's going to be Stephen Jones, and nobody's going to bat an eye until one of us do it, and then it will be us that will complain about it.
Well, yeah, and that was my problem when people used to cry. Never, and I'm like, look at it. First of all, we in capitalistic America, right? So that's the first problem. The second problem is to your point. Is to your point. Everybody does it across all corporate structures.
Yeah.
Nepotism.
Yeah.
Now, because this young man does it, now y'all want to be, it should be fair. Okay, you novices. Okay, you tell me when they haven't taken advantage in putting people in the front office or in coaching positions where we know there were others that are more qualified. Let's stop this. So, he taking a spot from somebody. If somebody's that good that they could have had that spot, they're either going to be in the G League or they're going to sign large overseas contracts if they're that good.
Yeah.
Like that could go to somebody else who's, well, okay, they chose not to. Stop that. But there are people in this world that believe that that certain people shouldn't have certain privileges. And that's just the dynamic of it. But we're not gonna get on that because that's not what we were actually segueing into. But it's a great subject.
It's not, but it is a subject that grinds my gears, dog. Because I swear, like it's
mine too.
It's really, like you said. So it's kind of like, as you were saying, and I thought about it. My first job, I worked with my uncle. It basically nepotism. Mm-hmm. My first real full-time job where taxes were taken out regularly, my grandma got me a job at Comey. Also nepotism. They only hired me because my grandma referred me in there. It happens more regularly than we would like to admit. So I'm not a fan of making this young man who is talented, by the way. Bronny James is talented because he has access to resources that other people don't have. That helped him get that talented. I really don't like it because they try to shade his talent from him. And the kid's actually talented. The kid was going to be exactly. He was going to be in the NBA or G League at some point, regardless of whose son he was. But because he just happens to be the GOAT son. Oh, GOAT James is Shannon like to call him, Shannon Sharp. Shout out to Shannon Sharp. Oh, GOAT James. But because he's GOAT James' son, look, I know I'm getting ready to make people mad with that statement. Because he's old GOAT James' son, he has access to things that these other kids just don't have access to. Dalton Connect was picked up before him. Dalton Connect is still playing for the Lakers. So if he had taken Dalton Connect's spot, maybe y'all would have a complaint. Yeah. But the person who y'all are claiming he took his spot is either, like you just said, he's either in the G League right now or he has a high contract overseas. Nobody else's spot was taken. Anybody else you start naming was not going to get that spot over Bronny James, even if he wasn't LeBron James' son. Mm-hmm. So y'all can kill that. Like that's as far as I go with it. Like but you and McKee know this. I spent time in sports media, so I'm super sensitive about it because I watch how people start the hype machine, and as soon as it ain't going the way that they said it was, they start the sledgehammer machine is what I call it. Mm-hmm. They build it up to a certain spot, and when it start looking like it ain't, and I'm talking about, I watched grown people do this to kids in high school. As soon as that hype don't get to where they want it to be, they take the sledgehammer and start tearing that thing down every which way that they can. And nobody ever understands that they're doing it to a kid. And it happens to professionals too, but I'm always sensitive about it because these kids, they when they get to college, they're still kids. Like, we still talking about 18, 19, 20-year-olds when they're in college, and they're getting treated like they're the ones that hype themselves up. And now we decided to believe it. No, that was media. That was pundits. That was everybody else that said what they said. Now that they could be wrong, or just throwing this out there. In some cases, the kids hear it and it just becomes a bit too much for them, and they're having to deal with all the issues and the anxieties of trying to live up to whatever spotlight was shined upon them sometimes. And I mean, that's the human element that makes these games interesting anyway. So, I mean, sometimes we just need to chill on it and let these kids and men, young men and young women do what they do. Caitlin Clark did a masterful job of being able to handle all that pressure. Juju is, what's Juju's last name? I forgot her last name.
Watkins.
Is probably going to be the greatest women's basketball player of all time.
Slow down, B. Okay, now.
Probably.
Okay, don't start that.
Let me say it this way, because
once you get to that WNBA level improvement,
you know what? Let me slow down and say it this way.
Because that's what got a lot of heat on Caitlin, because people were projecting her there. You do that, you set Juju up.
I know you're right, and I just spoke against that, by the way, and then I turned around and did it. But with that being said, which is insane. Here's the only difference between me and other folks. I won't say everybody else, but here's the difference between me and other folks. I won't knock Juju down if she's not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I won't take a sledgehammer to it. I'll just say I'm wrong. I predicted wrong. That's accountability.
I too think she'll be one of the best.
I mean, goodness gracious. Like, how good she is from a skill standpoint, and then she's just that athletic. It's just like, I don't know what y'all gonna do. She's the WNBA version of Kobe Bryant coming, I believe.
Okay.
This might be the closest thing to Kobe from the WNBA and women's sports, because she is dubbed nice for real.
Yeah.
But speaking of the NBA and the NFL, that viewership, we ain't gonna spend a lot of time on this. We really should have did that subject anyway. But ratings for the NBA were down for a little while. Now they're up. So NFL normally steals the shine from everybody, but this year free. Like, they kind of shared alike this year, man. I didn't see.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. See, folks, let me give you context. We had this discussion, and I made the statement that the NBA lost to Beyonce. So when we put it in context, yes, the NBA viewership was at its highest since 2019, but they only had about 5-point-something million viewers. The NFL alone had 65 million American viewers. Okay? It's not even close. The NFL, Beyonce, whooped LeBron and them. No.
I'm double checking that stat. I think they had more than 5.
Double check that.
I think they had more than 5.
Triple check it.
I could have swore I saw a source that said 27 million. I see the 65 though, so I'm not going. No. They averaged 5 million viewers.
Who? The NBA?
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm reading it now.
Per game? And how many games did they have that day?
Hold on a second.
I know grown men that were locked in on that Houston versus Baltimore game just to see Beyonce. Grown men that probably have not streamed or bought an album ever in their life. But they were locked in for that halftime show.
Yeah. So it kind of ebbed and flowed based on what game was on. So the Golden State game had about 7.7 million viewers. Lakers game had 7.7. The Golden State game had 8.3. So it kind of ebbed and flowed throughout the course of the day. But I'll be honest with you, I'm a bigger basketball fan, and even I was locked in on football all day.
So
like,
so this,
was,
but
like,
this is this,
I
this
don't
is
doubt
why I
those.
wanted
I
this
don't
to
doubt
come up.
that.
Well, this is why I wanted to come to bring this, because we've been talking about the Super Bowl and the halftime show, and the NFL put a lot of attention on what's Kelsey's girlfriend. Oh Lord, I'm gonna get flack. Taylor Swift. My apologies, Taylor. I don't want that smoke.
Yeah, don't Kanye.
I'm not. That's my fault. It just I had a.
I mean, because you are bigging up Beyonce, and you getting ready to Kanye.
No disrespect. I no disrespect, but I'm just saying no. But but what I'm saying is this: because we know the NBA's been trying to do different things with the in-season tournament and stuff to bring ratings, and I think it is recovering back. I think it's shocking that it was the biggest since COVID because everybody was home. You figure they might be watching more basketball, so that was interesting to me. That's that, but I just look comparison. Can the NBA compete with the NFL? Because that halftime is now premier, especially now with Jay-Z being over the entertainment for the Super Bowls, and now they're putting emphasis on these games. I remember they had the big halftime show at the Dallas game Thanksgiving. Who was that? I can't remember.
Yeah.
So it's like, is this the trend now? Are we going to start seeing everybody trying to bring these big halftime shows and get the ratings up? Is it the actual matchups that's driving it? Like, people are like, well, I can get a free concert now at a football game. You know what I'm saying? But I just think it's interesting, the disparity in how many people were so locked in to see this halftime show with Beyonce, and it just shows the star power. Because like I said, there were grown men ready to watch this halftime show that I know have probably never owned a Beyonce album or a Destiny's Child album, for that matter.
Yeah.
Right?
And look, and speaking of that, Beyonce had Blue Ivy out there dancing.
Yes.
So I'm waiting for somebody to complain about how Blue Ivy took somebody's spot. I'm telling you, man, it just kills me to no end, man. Again, our whole culture is centered around nepotism is built into the fabric of
that might be the sound bite of the week of the kickoff 2025 right there. Like, are y'all mad that Beyonce decided to go with Blue Ivy over a qualified dancer who needed the opportunity?
Yeah, this stuff is insane, man. And look, I'm fresh out the barbershop on this conversation, and I was getting ready to leave the barbershop. I think I ended up in there a whole another 30 minutes. Like, come on, man, I know y'all are trying to do this, but again, it's one of the. I was about to say something I ain't got no business saying, so I ain't gonna say it. But there are certain things that I try to stay away from because I don't want anybody to feel like I have an influence on what's happening. I don't. Like some people just work hard and they deserve the opportunity, and they have to take advantage of it. And I can tell you now, professionally, I've worked professionally with people who were in the same position as me, and they did not deserve the opportunity at all. And in some cases, they got those opportunities because of nepotism. And I don't remember people complaining about that back then. So I kind of don't want to hear it now.
I feel.
But with that being said, let's get to a lighter note.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, go ahead.
While we on the subject of NFL and stuff. Because we haven't had a chance to discuss this, which was a hot topic, but I'd be interested in hearing your view. What do you think about the debate or controversy about K-Dot performing in New Orleans for the Super Bowl instead of Wayne, Cash Money? Or how do you feel about that?
I think it's dumb to make the complaint. I think it was in some cases, like I understand that you can feel a certain way about it. So I don't want to sound like I'm diminishing Wayne's feelings. Like, Super Bowl is in New Orleans. Lil Wayne is from New Orleans. He probably would have very much liked to have been a part of that. So I get it. But the decision wasn't made in spite of it. And you can't take things ever so personally. So it's for him, and to be honest with you, for him to take it as personal as he did, like, I actually get it. I may not agree with it, but I actually get it that he felt slighted in that moment. But I still believe that, not like us not took the entire world by storm, it may have been Wayne that they chose. It wasn't going to be after that song dropped. Like, that's why when we talked about it earlier, that how powerful and impactful that song was, and not just hip hop culture, but in pop culture. Like it took over. And at that point, that's who's going to be featured at the Super Bowl. And I mean, Kendrick has had like some of the greatest performances at these events like this anyway. So it's like, I definitely get why he was chosen, but I also get why Wayne felt the way that he felt. What I don't get is why people who don't know Wayne or Kendrick are feeling a certain way. Like, I don't see.
Hold on. I'm not gonna let you use that right there. Let's stop the tape. I'm not gonna let you use. Y'all don't know them. You can't have no. If they are fans of these individuals, they can feel a certain type of way. Now, I want to say, I think it's a little bit of that competitive edge.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And Wayne, and I think Cole was like, I got the power to do this, the influence. Let me say that, the influence to do this.
Yeah.
I think it's a part of that little competitive nature. But to your point,
but the other side of it is
a smash culturally, whatever, so I get it. I still think
it was too big.
I think the problem is the tone that you set in LA when you had Drake.
That's why I was about to go with, and that's why I understand why Wayne feels the way that he feels, because he wanted that. Like, that was very impactful for the California and LA area to have those people perform. And then they brought other people not from the area in to perform with them, but the marquees were Dre and Stu.
Yeah.
And because they were the marquees, it meant more to have that in LA. Wayne wanted that. That's why I say I get it. I definitely.
And I'm disappointed.
If the Super Bowl were in Charlotte, the expectation from J. Cole should be that he should be performing in that Super Bowl. You see what I mean? Like, it's like,
are you saying? Hold on. You saying J. Cole should perform over Petey Pablo? Now let me stop. People gonna be like, "Oh, he take a shot." Let me stop.
You better cut.
That's wrong. Hey, edit that out.
But yes, to answer your question, and shout out to Petey Pablo. That ain't a shot at him, but absolutely yes. Maybe bring Petey Pablo in and let him wave the towels. I mean, that was a big hit. I'm not gonna pretend like Petey Pablo wasn't impactful.
One of my favorite songs of all time is "Club Banger" by Petey Pablo. We need a club banger.
Yeah.
But no, I was just trying to be comical. Please don't take offense. Petey is that dude.
Undoubtedly.
But no, I feel you. But I feel like Egos got in the way of it. I don't think it's something that should be taken to that extreme, like you're saying. But I was kind of hurt because to that point, the whole theme was very LA. But even with the artists that he brought out, when it still sealed like Dre's legacy as, you know, one of the greatest out of this city. So it's like when you set that tone, how do you listen? And people might not agree with this. Now I know they probably wouldn't do a show together because they got beef, but it's like, okay, you got Wayne, who's, you know, more relevant as we look at artists out of New Orleans today. It's the most and the largest. But how do you not give No Limit a little bit of love? Who really put New Orleans on the map? And then Cash Money kind of sealed it, like, okay, them boys got something. You know what I'm saying? Just like if it goes to Texas, like you gotta have Scarface, you gotta have the Ghetto Boy, you gotta have a little bit of UGK. You know, it's like,
definitely.
It's like, if we gonna do this, like, how you gonna come to the city and not, you know, get the pass, Jigga? Come on, Jigga.
Yeah.
I called him Jigga. I know he ain't went by that in years, but I called him Jigga.
Now, I'll be honest with you. If Jay-Z had brought in Robin Thicke or somebody like that, I'd have been on the front line. I'd have been in New Orleans picketing.
Blurred lines.
Like, I'd have been in New Orleans picketing right along with Lil Wayne. But it was Kendrick. I understood immediately why it was Kendrick. It's not because Kendrick's a better artist. It's because Kendrick was on fire at the time.
I'm gonna say this before.
And they make those decisions that way. Bruno Mars was a relative unknown to a lot of folks until he performed at the Super Bowl. And then his streams and his downloads went up like crazy. So I absolutely get it. They trying to build a ratings. Kendrick Lamar is going to be a bigger ratings bringer on that day because of what has happened in 2024. Yeah. So I get it. I hope we don't take it too
I'm going to throw this out there before we leave the
definitely.
subject, because we went longer than we were supposed to. I'm going to throw this out there. Kendrick will bring Wayne out.
I hope he does. That would be
calling it now. You heard it first here.
I hope he does. I hope he does. Hopefully they ain't letting the beef get in the way of that, because that's as McKee put it just now, that's a huge money maker, and they need to go about this. Speaking of huge money makers, we got a new segment for y'all that we have called One Must Go, and in this one we're gonna put up some photos, and we're basically going to ask the question: which one of these artists or movies or actors or basketball players or football players would you get rid of them and all of their work over the other three? So one's got to go. We're going to start it off with this right here.
I like pressure.
Let's just go and see how it works.
Right. Let's go. I'm ready.
We'll see. All right. So one must go. You got 4 albums. Actually, I'm sorry. This is different. One's got to stay. So this is the one you keep.
One I'm keeping.
And these are singles. Yeah, these aren't albums. These are singles. It's Into You by Tabia and Fabulous. When I See You by Fantasia. Why Don't We Fall in Love, A. Marie. And Happy by Ashanti. One can stay. You can only keep one free.
All right, which one stay? One's leave it up. One's gotta stay. Listen, if one had to go, I would know. But one's gotta stay. And this is just going off which single was the best. It has nothing to do with overall artists, right? I'm gonna make that clarity.
All right.
So if one had to stay,
right.
my favorite out of the bunch was Why Don't We Fall in Love? I gotta keep that. That was my jam.
I'm gonna take it down because we on the same page.
That was my jam.
That was mine too. Like that. So Ashanti's in a close second, and then I'm not sure between Fantasia and Tamia. They kind of about tied to me.
Yeah.
But honestly, it was that A. Marie track was it was too much when it came out. I'm sorry. No, I love that track. All right. Here we go. Here's the next.
He put swinging hammers.
All right.
Oh Lord!
All these rappers and all of their one of these rappers and all their music gotta go. I'm gonna be honest with you. This was too easy for me. So
you would throw me on the spot. But
I already know who gotta go.
I'm gonna have to say Yo Gotti. I'm gonna send him on because
I'm sitting. Go ahead.
You know. I just like Gucci. I like Jeezy. I like T.I. He uses a dictionary. I like Rick Ross. And I like Bootsy, man. Bootsy just that dude. I just like him for the person. Like.
So the reason this is Gucci for me is because Yo Gotti has more hits that I like than Gucci. I can do without Gucci.
They don't like Gucci.
You can actually blame some of my other friends for this because you know how some people just wear it out. Like it's just some people I've been around, they just wore Gucci out to the point it was like, you know what? If I don't hear another Gucci Mane, I'll be okay. Like it's just some people just wore it out for me, man. Like it's like I've had enough. And then a lot of his rhymes are more Sesame Street. I'm okay with that.
We'll make it good.
When you hear that a lot, so he like Gucci Mane's he's a strip club legend.
Why you want to leave me? You should want to please me.
Okay, yeah. But like Lemonade is still one of my favorite tracks by the way. So I'm not anti-Gucci Mane. Let me make sure I start with that. Definitely not anti-Gucci Mane, but if you put him up against that list, he's the first one that got it.
Yeah.
All right. Another single. Only one can stay. Before I Let Go. Candy.
I'm pleading the fifth on this one.
Man, there's only one song.
No, D.
There's only one.
No, this ain't fair.
I'll go first then.
You going first
one
and
song
last.
on here.
No.
So let me start by saying this, because again, this is how people equate hate where it don't belong.
No.
There's no hate here. Every single one of these songs are classic and have stood the test of time. So let me start by saying that. They're all classics. But when I say what I'm about to say next, it is because I don't care where I am. Every black event plays this song at some point, and it is Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, Before I Let Go.
Yeah.
It's played everywhere. I don't care what's going on. If your 17-year-old just graduated and there's a cookout in the backyard, it is guaranteed that Before I Let Go is going to be played. If your 23-year-old brother just got married, it is guaranteed at some point Before I Let Go is going to be played. There is not an event that I have been to that is black-led that Before I Let Go ain't played. You might go to A&T's homecoming in 2025, and at some point, the band is going to break out into Frankie Beverly and Maze Before I Let Go. That song is played
I will agree with this.
Everywhere.
I will agree with that sentiment. That is like, because you can go places and you might not hear September.
Exactly.
You might be somewhere with Candy. You might not be.
Yeah.
Mic. That's a very thin mic because that is very outstanding. Is a very big
It's
cookout song too.
It is.
But you're right. It's something about that. Dun, 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 whoa,
Yeah.
Like that could I'm in Greensboro. But if they play that in Durham, you can hear that whoa, all the way here. You know it's a black event going on. So I will agree with that sentiment. But D, I'm gonna have to say, Mac, don't ever put me on the spot like that.
Yeah, look, I told you this is gonna be some tough ones. Here's one that's even worse.
That was crazy.
Here's one that's got to go. So that was one that can stay. One's got to go. One actor and all they work. And I want to think it be easy. It should be Terrence Howard, but then you get to take away the word Maine, and I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that.
Hey man, I don't know, man.
I think it's Michael B. Jordan for me on this one.
Oh, this is a tough one.
This is a tough one, but I know it ain't tough. Denzel ain't going nowhere.
Well, if you look at total body of work, I think Terrence and Denzel, with this their longevity, are further apart than Idris and Michael B. But
I still ain't forgave Stringer Bell for what he did.
That's messed up. The Wire. But I will say out of them, yes, Michael B. probably would have to go.
Yeah, it's got to be Michael. And again, we're not anti-Michael B. Jordan. Love him. And for people who don't know this, little known fact, Michael B. Jordan was in The Wire. And Stringer Bell, who was Idris Elba's character, was the one that put the hit out on Michael B. Jordan's character. Yeah. He was just super young. I think Michael B. Jordan was like 17 or 18 when he did Wire. So he was like super, super young. But they were both in the same series. But yeah, that's definitely not Michael B. Jordan hate. He was rated the Black Panther.
Okay. All right, Denzel, you're not gonna. Let me tell you something. I'm in Gladiator. I'm working on my Denzel. Yeah. All right. Okay.
One can stay. Everybody else must go. I'm not gonna lie.
I know who you gonna pick to stay.
I absolutely hated whoever posted this.
I know who you gonna pick to stay. I know you gonna go with the NBTHOD.
It actually wouldn't be him.
What?
Believe it or not, it would actually be Redman.
Well, that was my second guess.
And you know why?
You used to play the heck out of that Superman Lumber.
The Muddy Waters album, absolutely.
And he just dropped Muddy Waters too.
The Muddy Waters, I know, I just started listening to it recently. The Muddy Waters album is the only reason. But honestly is so here's the reason why I don't like it, because you have to take something away that was very instrumental. If you take away Method Man, so first, actually, I'm not gonna pick. This is one of the ones that I said I'm not picking. I don't care what nobody said. But if you take away Method Man, then you've now taken away the Method Man song from the Wu-Tang album.
Yeah,
can't take him away. Raekwon got the purple tape.
Yeah,
you can't take that away. And then Ghostface got what was the name of the first? Iron Man. And you can't take that away. And then if you take away Redman, you got Muddy Waters that you got to take off the table. Like whoever made this one go to hell.
I know.
I'm
not picking. But
we're not picking on this one. Go to hell.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, we done with this one. Go straight to hell with it.
I drive by on wise guys. My tape's murderous.
Yeah. I'm not sure why.
I don't even know. I know Kendrick and ain't one of them.
This is Tyler the Creator.
In the
Vincent Staples.
And Vince Staples. I don't know the little.
I don't know who this is. So
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't
let's
know.
do a
The
one
young-
must go and just say him, whoever the hell that
Yeah,
is.
yeah, we
'Cause I have
can.
no
And,
idea who that
and
is.
shout out to Tyler the Creator, man. My middle daughter loves Tyler the Creator.
Tyler the Creator is very talented. So is Vince Staples.
Yeah.
Nobody on this list, I don't even care who this dude is. Nobody on this list even measures remotely to Kendrick Lamar. So I'm not sure why anybody is on this list. If the person who should be down here in the far left hand corner at the bottom, that should be Simba. Because when you start talking about, because I'm assuming this is California rappers.
Yeah.
Simba is who should be on this list. And then this list is a little more tougher. I'm still going with Kendrick Lamar. If there's one must stay, then it's undoubtedly Kendrick Lamar. But I don't know who this other person is. And shout out to whoever that is in the bottom left hand corner. But I don't know you. So we're gonna say it's you, and we just gonna call it quits on that. All right, got two more.
Off the top freestyle.
You already know what my answer is.
Yeah, I do. But hold on. Let's classify freestyle, because there's multiple ways we could classify it.
Go ahead. My answer is still the same.
Off the top, are we talking about off the top of the dome, or the best freestyle where they can pull out something
off the top of the dome?
And this is one's gotta stay.
Only one can stay. It's the best one.
Off the dome. I'm gonna have to stay true, man, and go with the teacher, man. KRS. Because I've never really seen the others freestyle off the dome. Usually they have something in their mind. The only other person
at the top, that Big L
that I've seen, huh?
That's Big L at the top left, right?
Yeah.
That's
the
what
only
I thought.
other person I've seen freestyle off the top of the dome, like legit, is Common and KRS.
So I'm gonna do mine this way. I'm sorry for your loss. It's a body dead in the car, and it's probably one of yours. The writing all across the window and the walls, whether it was true or false, we shouldn't have gotten involved. Remember, we walked past the teacher, take the chalk and laugh. We wrote punishments. I will not talk in class. Now it's pistols punishing people and talking fast, and all of these innocent bystanders is hauling ass. I hate to say I told y'all, but I told y'all things fall apart when the center too weak to hold y'all. I'm just collecting what you owe to my old y'all. Y'all about to get swooped down on and stole on. Fools swear they wise. Wise men know they foolish. While we was headed for the web even before computers. I never thought I'd give you a reason to do this. Cain and Abel, Jesus and Judas, Caesar and Brutus. I see intruders, avert your eyes. I told you keep out of the hood. Circumcised.
Black
It's
Thought.
Black Thought, though.
Yeah.
I have never heard a freestyle
But that pre-done.
ever in my life.
But that's pre-written.
My God. That wasn't pre-written.
No.
When you listen to it again, he did not write that, though.
Come on, dog.
He did not write that.
No. Them cats got rhymes that they memorize and they just boom. They hit a beat, it match, and they go. That is freestyle. But if we talk about off the dome, come on, man.
There's no way
that's a
Black Thought
had
wrote
stored away.
this. There's no way he wrote this. Hold on, I'm gonna find another one because this one was. Hold on a second. All right, he said, I barbed wire my wrists and let them pay. All right, so I'm gunfire and flares, sirens glare. I'm in an iron chair with people who don't get in the lion's share. When I don't give a F, I ain't fair. I'm on a higher tier when people getting money like finance. like the financier. Catch the herald, I'm fresh copped and beveled. Rap on a doctorate level, so F. Scott Fitzgerald. Maybe I'm the new Rakim. Maybe I'm Fat Pharaoh. Undergarments of armor be my intimate apparel. Pre-Kardashian Conway. My rhyme play immaculate. Same cadence as DOC. Pre-accident. Maybe my acumen on par with Coogee rapping them. Give me the proper respect. We back again. Like, he didn't write that.
Okay.
That's too all over the place. It's too all over the place, but still so on par.
Now, do cats not write stuff down and they just come up with lines and they boom? But I'm sorry. I'm not believing like a cat just came in cold and was like, give me my line share. I found like a finance said. He had them things stored in his mind. Now, out of all those, if you're talking about lyricists and boom, it's a Black Thought, no doubt.
Yeah,
if we talking about off the cap, like coming in cold, just throw a beat on, I got it. Nah.
Yeah.
I'm going with the teacher, man.
No.
Because the teacher, he'll break down what you got on. This is a shoe, you know. I'm right here in front of you. You know, he'll break that down.
All right. That's the last one.
All right, let's get
this
it.
Is for anybody that grew up in the 80s. One's got to go, though.
Oh, I'm going to have to go. That's easy for me. I loved all of them, but Jetsons got to go.
Yeah, get the Jetsons up out of here.
And I enjoy the Jetsons, but yeah.
Yeah. I still sit down some Saturday mornings and eat Flintstones.
You're right. Fruity Pebbles, baby.
Like it's even today. You can't take Looney Tunes out because they got too much going on.
Yeah.
And Tom and Jerry.
I think they were deep down under that. They were brothers. They were brothers. They were black.
They were. There's one episode of Tom and Jerry where Jerry is trying to get this one girl, and she keep going with the dude with all the money.
Yeah.
And well, that was Tom, and then Jerry is kind of like with him, and then Jerry try to go get his girl, and she leave, and then both of them jokers end up on the train tracks. And it's like, you know what? The moral of this story clearly was, young people, don't chase women.
Yeah.
Let them chase you, because this is all you're gonna be is stressed out. That joker went and bought a little ring, and that old buddy came back with that big bling.
Yeah.
She was gone. I'm like, man, gold diggers is out there. Y'all better tell these young boys about them. Cause they out there, and y'all don't know no different.
No doubt.
Speaking of that you know what? We on the road
That's
today.
A great scene.
That segues to the final subject of the day, dog, which is identifying what a high value man is. And before I let you go, let me just tell you. Let me tell people this. I don't know who's more qualified to identify what a high value man is, men or women. But I do know one thing. It's not valued based off of in my hump. So let me start by saying this. There's no wrong answer. There's almost no wrong answer. In terms of, because when it comes to the women, for me, it's really about what it is that you look for. If a high value man is a guy who makes six figures and he's 6'2", and he is this, that, and the third, if he values you the same way, then that works out. But here's what you can't be. You have to be able to accept that if that is high value to you, but you're not his type, you cannot now devalue the 6 foot guy, the 6'2" guy with abs of steel and a 6-figure salary. You can't then devalue that guy if he meets all those standards, but he's just not into you. And that's kind of what prompted the conversation for me today, because I like to define it is going to like, there's not going to be a wrong answer. It's going to depend on how you define it, but you have to accept what comes back and you have to understand what that pool looks like. And I definitely don't think men can identify what high value man is to women, because that's something you have to do for yourself. So how you value yourself is determining how high value you are. So if your integrity is the most important thing, especially for young men out there that are about to head into the world, off to college or what have you, and a lot of these girls is about to get pregnant by the dude who got a job today, and he's riding through campus picking them up because you ain't got no car. Just know it's green grass on the other side of that, brother. That's number one. But number two, you have to determine high value by how you value yourself. And if you're not valued by that young lady the same way that you value yourself, then you're not lower value because somebody else has valued you based off of what you have. So as long as people understand that, I'm gonna let you go now.
Well,
that's the way I
agree, but I look at it like Chris Rock once said in one of his specials, and he said, only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally, but a man is only loved under the condition that he provides. And I think that's true in this sense, because in that statement, sometimes our worth or our value is based on us as the provider, what we can afford as far as a lifestyle or behavior or whatever.
I do think that's a mainstream value.
It is. It is, because a lot of times when you look through those eyes, sometimes you overlook someone's potential or how you and someone else can come together and build up one another and help one another grow. A lot of times value is placed on what you have or where you are, and not always on where you're going. And I think the value of a person is someone who's, number one, principled and always has a vision. Some can be dreamers, which can be dangerous if they don't have a true vision. We dream, it's in our mind, but a vision sees it through. But have to grow
sometimes,
go ahead.
I want to stay on that for a second, because I think what you just said is very, very, very valuable in terms of its meaning behind it. Because a lot of times, what that person who the dreamer needs is somebody to help them understand how to direct that vision. And a lot of times that's what makes the perfect match, is the collaboration between that person who has the vision but don't know what to do with it, and now they have a good woman in their life that knows exactly how to help direct that vision so that you can bring it to fruition. And a lot of times is what a lot of people need anyway. But what a lot of people are looking for is a ready-made product. Yeah. So it's and y'all know this because I say it all the time, man. The killer. So if anybody else starts saying this, they got it from me. But the number one killer of progress is impatience. And a lot of times, especially in terms of relationships, a lot of people are extremely impatient in terms of what it is they're looking for. So they create the list to say, I want these things. But you may have those things in something that you're going to have to be a little more patient for. Because if you look direct, because men and women do it alike. So I'm not going to single out a particular gender. But men and women alike do this. They say, I want this. She got to look like this. The shoes got to be this. That's got to be this. And she got to be shaped this way. And then they get with that woman over and over and over and over and over again, and then find complaints. Man, all y'all is like this. Y'all, then everybody that looks like that is put into a box where it's like, well, one, you telling them this is what you want. Like you've what's the word I'm looking for? You've almost, for lack of better terms, you've almost itemized that person and just relegated them to certain values that really aren't that important to you at the end of it, because you don't know you. You don't know who you are. So now you're taking the other person and saying, all right, here's what I want you to be because I believe these are the things that will make me happy. That's ultimately what a lot of people say. I believe these are the things that will make me happy. So if this person has this, and this, without, excuse my French, but when you don't take into account that this person could be an asshole, flat out, then it's very difficult for you to say, all right, I want these set of tools, I want these things. And then when you get them and you're still unhappy, you're still trying to figure out why. Well, it's because all the things that actually make you happy, you haven't identified yet. You've only scratched the surface. You're only happy with what you can see on the surface, and not what lies underneath. And that's where the true beauty in people really are. Like if any celebrity I've gotten to know, I wanted to know who they were, not the side of the celebrity, because we see, and what's interesting about that is we see people in regular life, as I'll call it, hide behind the facade of what everybody else say they should be. So if somebody says, man, this person's a crash dummy, that person will accept that role, and then they'll become a crash dummy. And then when you get to know them much more personally, you're like, nah, he really ain't like that. And that's just in normal day-to-day stuff. But in building relationships, a lot of people, I feel like, don't take the time to do that. And you start seeing stuff like the Cheesecake Factory video.
Oh yeah.
And then and that was fake, by the way, for people who don't know that.
Yeah.
But it made a good point in exposing how some people can be a little too materialistic. You start judging nice people based off of what they can, again, going back to what you just said, base it off of what they can do for you, not what they can do with you. And now you have to start identifying who the real asshole is.
I think too, anytime you're looking for a mate, you have to be at a point where you're honest with yourself. Yeah. Because a lot of times, depending on, where we are in our life, our age, whatever circumstances, sometimes we settle for stuff and we're not honest with ourselves. Like, for instance, when I say being honest, then what things you're willing to compromise or what things you're willing to do without. Yeah. You know what you want. You know what motivates you in a relationship, in any relationship, a friendship, a loving relationship, whatever.
Yeah, in any of them, it don't matter.
And I think, if we're still trying to figure out ourselves and then we bring somebody in the midst of that, we kind of think, well, I kind of want this, and that person kind of brings this. But then it's like, oh, but I don't really like this other aspect of them. But now I'm courting this because I was trying to fulfill certain voids in my life or things I was seeking. And once again, I think that's a big issue, like us being honest with ourselves and being like, what we're willing to settle for, what we're not, what we are willing to compromise on. And I will say, I'm at a younger age, I've make sure this one gets edited out. No, but at a younger age, I have sacrificed dealing with some very lovely and attractive young ladies because of certain things that I just wasn't willing to compromise on.
Me too. And me too. And I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and that was from being honest with myself. Like, now look, she might be fine, but do you want this headache down the line,
Yeah,
or
no,
are you willing to overlook this today?
I've told the stories a million times to the people closest to me. I'm happy. I'm okay with it.
Mhm.
I don't care. Like it was like I've never looked back and go, boy, I really fumbled that one because she
Yeah,
was
yeah,
fine. Like man, that's the most shallow thing in the world you can say.
yeah, yeah,
Man, she was so fine. How did she? No, that's how you get used, and then be mad.
yeah,
Like how are you upset about that? Like you
yeah,
basically wanted a toy. You got the toy. She recognized herself as a toy, and now you mad because the toy was a toy. Like it was a toy to begin with.
yeah.
Like I don't have time for stuff like that. Like it's what's the I, just tell me what it is you want.
Mm.
Period. Like and I'm talking about the younger me. Like I'm glad I figured that out so young
Yeah.
because it had me in a different space later. But I was when I was young, I had my first second apartment. I was very clear on who I was and who I was dealing with. You did not have to lie to me. If you did, I just cut you off. Like it was just that simple
Mhm.
because you don't have to. Like
Yeah.
everybody's out here. I'm okay with it. Like we're good. But when you start trying to build something else outside of that, it's like we don't have to do all this. So it was, so if like, and again, I mean, we've all done it where you deal with young women, they go to college and they don't have food money and they want you to bring them food. Just say that's what you want me to do.
Hmm.
Like that, I was there at 20 and 21. like
Hmm.
like people try to relegate that to man, you old sugar daddy. Nope, no. That I was young.
You were a foodie call.
Yeah, I mean, but think about it, man. Think about it. In 1999, 2009, 9 and the 2000, as juvenile say, there was like a combo was like $4 and $5 back then. Like,
After all, it's a foodie call.
it, but here's the thing. I understood it. Like it was. I always looked at it this way. And you were a traditional college student. I wasn't. I didn't go back until I was 24.
I was not a traditional college student.
You were more traditional than
I
me.
was 25 when I graduated. Well, I was
No,
turning
you was
25.
25 when you graduated. I was 24 when I went. When I went. So very different.
Mm.
That's
But
what I mean.
I was in and out now.
Yes.
Let's
Look,
not betray
look, to me, that's tradition. Traditional students are in and out. I definitely dealt with college people that was in and out. I had some family that was in college at the time, and they were traditional students, and they didn't always have money to eat. But I, 18, 19, 20, was working a job all the time, so I always had money to eat. So to bring you something to eat, as I understood it for college students, like you're not using anybody just by asking them to do something for you in kind. Like it's an in kind arrangement. It was like, hey, I'm hungry. Do you mind going and get blah 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 dollar menu from Wendy's? Just ask me.
Yeah.
But what you don't do is say, hey, we're gonna hang out with y'all tonight, but we just need to go to Wendy's first. And then after we go to Wendy's, go, yeah, can you take me back to the room? Like, hey man, you realize I could have just stopped at Wendy's on the way. I'm actually a little more irritated that I'm doing more driving than I need.
That was the women you was dealing with. But anyway,
Look, some
I
of
was-
them did.
I
Some of
was
them
dealing,
did that.
I was dealing with grown women. They were like, "We're going to Red Lobster, my treat." Like you bet we are.
No.
I'm joking. Edit that part out. No, but seriously,
I had those too. We're gonna edit all this out.
no, but seriously, on a serious note, just to close it out. But on a serious note, I think when we're talking about value of man, I think the judgment is on those on women. Like once again, knowing yourself, what are your values?
Yeah.
Do those that you see in this person match those? do you see that they can be elevated with them? So I think you find your value in someone in general when you know your value. So if I know my value, I'm not going to settle for anything less than what I see, like seeing a reflection of my value. And it's not to say that people won't have problems or issues, but at the core, you deal with those that reflect your values.
Yeah.
That's and that's how we build relationships in general.
Exactly. And I think just to add on to that point a little bit, first off, you have to be honest about the value system that you put in place. So, and this is what I mean. So you have to funnel your value based off of how you see it. So for example, and I'm gonna go both genders. So if you're a young lady, you're looking for a man. First off, if you're a black young lady and you say I'm not dating outside of my race, so now you've just shrunk your funnel there. So now it's getting smaller. So now you say, all right, I'm only dating in my race, and the men I date have to be 6'2" and above. So now it's gotten even smaller. So now you're like, all right, he needs to be 6'2", he has to be washboard abs. And in this America, that is much smaller. So now you're down to like 10 dudes in reality. So now you've got that down, and you say, all right, now he has to have 6 figures. Now we're getting even smaller now. So now you're looking at like, so now you've gone from 100% pool, you've cut out every race except for black men. Now your pool's gone from 100% to 40%. Now you've cut out everybody that's shorter than 6'2". So now you at like 15%. Now they gotta have washboard abs. Now you're at about 3% of your pool. So now they have to have 6 figures. Now you're at about 1.5% of your pool. Is getting down that low. What people
we can tell you've worked in marketing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know, right? Look, I'm giving sales funnel 101 class right now. And look, it's the same thing for men that say, all right, she needs to be curvy. She's got to have a 6-pack. She needs to have college degree, and I ain't even had that. So now for women, you've gotten down to about 0.2% of the men. And out of all the men that are out there, and you've regulated yourself to 0.2% of them, the one factor and the most important factor that gets left out of that, and this for both men and women, is that person has to like you back. Now that you've cut all of that out, that person also has to be interested in you. So what people never take into account when I see these conversations on social media, or I see it in other places, what I've recognized they never take into account is the other person may have a similar value system to you, and you may not meet the standards of that particular value system. So now how do you match that up? Exactly how do you match that up? Because you basically killed off everything in your funnel, and you big game hunting, and it ain't a lot of game that's gonna match what it is that you're not gonna match what they're looking for, but they match everything that you're looking for. And if you're dealing with somebody who's like, you know what, I can take advantage of this situation because this person's only looking for this, and since I meet these standards or criteria, I'm only going to give them that much of me and I don't have to do anything else. That's where your complaints come from. And like I said, this isn't a women thing. This is men and women alike do the same thing. Like you can't, and I've seen it where men will just start going off on women about what it is that they're doing and just generalize all black women. Like I see that happen all the time. There's a guy that's called Angry Man Channel. It's like, you've been shot down quite a few times. He's on Instagram. Like, it's clear. Like I tell you've been shot down quite a bit. Yeah. Because you can't relegate all black women to that. Like that's not all black women. sorry.
Yeah.
You just didn't meet the ones, but you're probably doing that thing where your value system is all physical or all materialistic or a combination of both. And those people just didn't like you back. So then your value system has to then switch, right? Now your value system has to be about it goes back to what you just said. You have to value yourself based off of who you are and what it is that you want. And it has absolutely positively nothing to do with material. Like you hear people that'll tell you like, man, I met this great person today. You're like, really, tell me about them. And the first thing they tell you is where they work.
Yeah.
Or it's like, man, she's a CEO of, or she's the head nurse at, or is like, what does that have to do with who she is? Like the head nurse of UNC Hospital can be an asshole too.
Yeah.
So can the head surgeon. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they're doing. And it goes back to what you said. It was earlier when you were like, you know, there's some women that take you to Red Lobster. Absolutely. And some of them are assholes. And as a result, I ain't want to go. And that's why I said I learned it kind of early, because you deal with the older women when you're younger and you see that they try to control you based off of, I mean, again, because Free, you knew me at age 20. I was 6'2" with the washboard abs. I just didn't have any money. Look, I was 6'2" with the washboard abs at age 20. I just didn't have any money.
You right.
So it was different, but it was,
and that's the thing. If you like it, like we're not knocking you,
absolutely.
But it's just to Dee's point, you're slimming your pool. Yeah. You know, when you put it on those physical things or material things, like a lot of, I'll tell you this, like with me, a lot of my value system is based on people's relationships and family. And one thing I've noticed, and if you go through the history of who I've dated long, they always had a very good relationship with family, like uncles, cousins, mom.
Yeah.
There was no father around, whatever. But their family relationship, and that was very big for me, because I got cousins everywhere. And we all cool and tight in my family. And so it's those type of things. So like if I see someone is very family oriented, that's very big for me. You know, because that's support system, right? That's love, that's, you know, it's not when you have a family and you're intertwined in that, it's hard to be a selfish person.
Absolutely.
So it tells a lot. So, you know, and once again, if you know those values about yourself, you know, I might see one who has very contentious, and it's not to say I won't deal with them, because, you know, they're still individuals. And like I say, some have problems, but that could be something that might not be a compromise for you. You might say, I don't, because they always got something going on, and you know, and that's you know, that's to each his choice. But you have to be secure in your values and who you are with that. You see what I'm saying? Just to kind of make that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like, I mean, the one of the famous Lil Wayne lines, it ain't tricking if you got it. So and quite honestly, like, is like I don't look down on anybody. If that's the thing that makes you happy, then okay. So like when I see women that'll say, like, my pool is shrunk and I just want to make some rich man happy. And what I'm never mad at her for saying that. She stated exactly what it is she wants. I'm always a little irritated with the men who go, see, that's how all y'all, nah. She just told you. You don't fit what she's looking for. Mm-hmm. And she's okay in her skin with what it is that she's doing. Mm-hmm. If you're not okay with it, I think you should be in a good space to where you could say, all right, then, I'll holler. But if you talking to, like, if you meet a young lady and you say Applebee's, she say Ruth Chris, sounds like y'all ain't on the same page. And what I mean by you say Applebee's, she say Ruth Chris. What I mean by that is you say, hey, meet me at Applebee's, and she like, no, I don't go to Applebee's. If a man's gonna date me, he's got to take me to Ruth Chris. I mean, if you disagree with that, the only viable answer is, all right, man, nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Like I've never really understood why there have been men who have had a problem saying that. Like, just be okay with understanding that you're not it.
But D, it might be the thrill of the hunt, man.
No,
check me out. I know we must. No, because sometimes, and we often commit women for this.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes women feel like, I'm that one that can change him. No, you knew he was this way. Such. Thought of you the one, right? Okay. Maybe that's the same with guys. Like, we are hunters. If it's a beautiful lady, maybe it's the thrill of the hunt. No, I'm gonna break her down out of that.
I'm not gonna say his name, but there's one person. There's one person that makes me against this completely. So no. So I'm completely against that theory. But there is some truth. Look, there is some truth to what you just said, though, because there are people that do get the thrill of the chase.
Yeah,
but which is fine. Like that's not even the wrong answer. But you can't get mad when you don't catch it. Like, you have to understand part of the game. It's like coaching basketball, right? It's like, I tell guys, man, you got to take the shot. What you can't do is be afraid of shooting the shot, because whether you're afraid or not, you either gonna make or miss it. Like, the scoreboard don't care if you punt it up there.
Yeah,
but the scoreboard don't care. But you gotta get the shot off, so you gotta shoot the shot. Dating is very much like that. Like, you have to shoot the shot, but once you shoot the shot, you have to be okay with the result. Yeah. Like, you may make it, you may not. You just got to be okay with it. My issue isn't the shots taken; it's the complaint afterwards. It's like, you can't do that. Like, you can't push yourself to say, all right, I want 0.000157% of the men available on Earth, and then get mad when you don't get it. Like, there's a very low chance. There's a very low chance that you'll get that guy based off of the criteria that you set, or that girl based off the criteria that you set. Like, it's very low. Like, you can't assume that that's going to be available once you narrow that down that far. Like, there are some people out here that are narrowing themselves down to fit that mold so they can get what they want out of the people who are looking for it. And so you have to, like I said, my issue's always been the complaint, not necessarily.
Look, we're going to have to do a part 2 on this.
Yeah, we definitely have to do a part 2.